Well, congratulations, guys. You've made it to another Friday. And on Friday, on this channel, these are Be Less Fat with Officer Ben. The video I have for today is going to be another cooking video. I don't know, I've done a pancake episode, and this is going to be my meal prep episode. So, for my meal prep currently, and probably for the last couple of years, besides a couple of exceptions, I've made the same food and it's really good. So I'm gonna show you how I make it, but it's about 7 pounds of chicken, a can of Rotel, and a little bit of seasoning. Throw that in a crock pot for 8 hours and it turns out really good. So I'm gonna show you how I prep the food, and then I'm gonna show you kind of what it looks like when it's done, as well as I'll show you an example of one of the meals that I prep for my lunch. The nice thing is I recorded this on my cell phone. I have a little tripod for my cell phone. I put that up in the kitchen, recorded everything, so you're not gonna have to look at my face again for the rest of the video. I hope you enjoyed the meal prep. Hopefully you learned something that you can kind of take with you and use for yourself. And I think that's about all I have to say. So I will talk to you guys later. Alrighty, let's see how this one works. I might strip the audio. I might leave this audio in. I just don't know. But the video for today, we're going to learn how I make my meal prep chicken. This is the chicken that I make every week, and I make a lot of it. And my wife and I will both take it for lunch, and then we'll have it for dinner maybe 1 or 2 nights a week, just to make sure we use it all. So the ingredients for this meal prep is some chicken. So here's some regular old boneless, skinless chicken breast. I've got 2 packages. This package is 3.84 pounds. And this package is 3.12 pounds. So I'm using about 7 pounds of chicken. But that's going to be enough to feed my wife and I lunch and a couple dinners for like probably a whole week. So let me see. Oh, the other thing I'm going to use is I like to use this Holy Gospel all-purpose spice rub from Meat Church. And then I also put in a can of Rotel diced chilies and tomatoes. I used to do this with 2 cans of chilies and Welcome back, everyone. I used to do this with 2 cans of chilies and tomatoes, but it would get a little bit too tomatoey. I think some of the acid and stuff in the tomatoes kind of threw it off for me, as well as when you're weighing your food, you want to make sure you're weighing the food that you're meant to be weighing, if that makes sense. Because when I do this is going to make some shredded chicken. So I will, I'll take it out and I have my scale and I'll put the chicken on a paper plate, and then I dump it into my lunch container. If my meal for that day is 125 grams of chicken, I want to make sure I'm getting 125 grams of chicken, and then I'm not getting 100 grams of chicken and 20 grams of tomatoes. So here's what we do. So I like to put a layer of chicken down, my hands, and then put a little bit of this seasoning on it. I used to do it with a fajita seasoning because it was like a Mexican style chicken, but I like to just do this regular all-purpose seasoning a little bit more, because then you can use it for other dishes. It still works great in like Mexican flavored type stuff, but you can just add additional flavor if you want to do something like make a burrito. Because what I generally do with this shredded chicken is I put it in a container for my lunch, and I'll show you guys how I do this sometime. But I put the chicken in, and I put the vegetables in, and then I put a little bit of chicken broth in my lunch container to keep it nice and moist, everyone's favorite word. And that's how I make my lunch. So I like to put the Rotel tomatoes and chilies on the center layer here. And then I'm going to take my other pack of chicken and put it over the top. Normally what I do is I go to Sam's Club and I get big packs of chicken that's like 5-6 pounds. And it's basically the same as 2 packs of these normal sized chicken. And I divide it in half, and I put half on the bottom and half on the top. That should be obvious. But right now, chicken, boneless, skinless chicken breast is kind of hard to find. So I have to make do with 2 packs of chicken, and it's actually, one was organic, one was not. I just went with what I found on sale. Let me wash my hands again. So I got that chicken in there. Then I will go ahead and put some more of this all-purpose in. It's a newer container, so it's kind of chunks up a little bit. I'm not going to read you the ingredients on this all-purpose. You can go to Meat Church's website and look if you want. I have a smoker as well, so I use a lot of their products. This is probably the one I use the most. Anytime I'm cooking with red meat, I will use something they call Holy Cow. Pretty self-explanatory. So, now that all of that is in the crock pot, I'm not going to move the camera, I'm just going to tell you. I'm going to turn it on. I have a fancy Cuisinart crock pot. It's actually not mine. It belongs to my wife. It was a Christmas present a couple years ago. But I use it probably more than she does. Don't tell anyone. So I set it for 8 hours on low. And then I hit start. Now it is 11:57 a.m. That means that this is going to be done around 8 p.m. tonight. So I will come back, set up the camera and everything, and show you what it looks like in about 8 hours, and we'll go from there. I will talk to you later. Alrighty, so it has now been 8 hours. 8 hours of cook time on this chicken. And let's see how it looks. So that's what it looks like initially. Let me find a spot for this lid. Just toss that anywhere. Now, if you look in here, this chicken just shreds like butter. So that's what I do with my chicken. Now, if you look in there, there's all this liquid. Now, that liquid is not broth. That liquid is fat. So we got to get rid of all that. Just going to pour it off into the sink over here, which you guys can't see, and honestly, you don't need to see. So I did leave just a tiny little smidge of liquid in there, but not very much. So then I just go through, I just shred this all up, which is hard to do while holding the phone. But I just shred it, just like that. And that way, because I'm all about finding food that is really easy to portion out. So when I'm putting this on my scale, I can just grab like little bits like that at a time and put it in. So if I need 125 grams of chicken, I get 125 grams of chicken. And my dogs are nuts. But there you go. So it's nicely seasoned, lots of flavor, and it's nice and tender, nice and moist, and delicious. So I don't know, maybe I'll go ahead after this, after I turn off this recording, I'll show you what one of my meals looks like. So I don't know. If I don't, well, there's a good meal prep chicken idea for you. If I do, you can see what one of the meals looks like. I'll talk to you later. Alrighty, so let's see how this goes with my dog eating in the background. Hopefully that's not too much of a distraction, but I'm going to go ahead and make my wife's lunch for tomorrow. Oh, I can turn this. Yeah, so you guys can see. Can you guys read the scale? Let me look at the screen. Is it? Oh no, you can't read it from that angle. I'm going to put it right here. Yeah, you can actually read that. So 0 out the scale. And so I just showed you how I make my delicious chicken. Now, for my lunches, here, this is the chicken from last week still. We still have a little bit left, so I'm going to use that. I've got some broccoli, which you guys know what broccoli looks like. And then the secret ingredient is really good chicken broth. I don't necessarily need to get the low sodium, but that's what they had. So I'm going to go ahead and measure out 125 grams of chicken. It's very technical stuff here. So I got 127 grams. Then I like to spread it out a little bit, so when I eat my lunch, I eat it with a spoon. So it's kind of like a soup, so I don't have like super large chunks of chicken. Then, for me personally, I put a half cup chicken broth in there. That way the chicken doesn't dry out and get all disgusting. So there's that. So then I'm going to move this off to the side. My little trick is I use the lid, and then let me grab a knife. I will measure out some broccoli, and I'll use like 75-80 grams of broccoli. 80 grams, good enough. Then is this still in there? Yeah. So then I like to cut my broccoli up, so that's some bite-sized pieces. Pretty simple, pretty fast, pretty easy. And that is a lunch. Now, you might say, where's all the carbs? Because most people would expect to see chicken and rice and broccoli. And if I wasn't on a weight loss diet, I would have rice in there. Even though my wife isn't necessarily on a weight loss diet, she's just kind of used to low carbs. So she does that. And then what I like to do is, I've mentioned before, and I don't know if you guys have seen it yet, but when you're eating your carbohydrates, to eat things that are filling. Rice is not very filling, and if I was to put rice in there, I'd probably get less than half a cup of rice, and that's not very much food. So what I like to do is I'll put an orange in there. This one's obviously not peeled, but when I punch the oranges into the diet app, I can get like 300, 400 grams of oranges. And that's actually, I can eat this plus 2 full oranges, and that's my lunch portion. And that's how I keep my carbs down, because this is lower carbs than a couple slices of bread. So that is my meal prep, how I make my chicken and how I pack up my lunches. Hopefully that is some useful information for you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If not, you can let me know. I'll talk to you guys later.